Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be doing a book review for, this probably should have been a DNF. This probably should have been a DNF, but I pushed through it because I really liked the last book this author wrote. And I did not like this one, and it is All the Dangerous Things. I was so excited to read this because I loved A Flicker in the Dark. It was so emotional, so fantastic, and I just did not like this one, and to me, it even got worse at the end. So we are going to be talking about spoilers in this. They'll be at the end. They'll be clearly marked. There's not a ton of spoilers. It's just mainly like two really big things. I think maybe even just one, but I got a lot of feelings about this book. I think I gave this a 1.5 or a 2. I don't remember, and I'm too lazy to look it up. This book is following our main character who has been dealing with the loss of her son over a year. She doesn't know where he was. He was taken, and a lot of people think she did it or her husband did it, and she is determined to find out the truth. But you also find out that she is an unreliable narrator because she sleepwalks, and sometimes she doesn't know what she does when she sleepwalks. Because we're also following a second storyline going on in the background of when she was a child and her sleepwalking and her sister, and you know something happened to the sister, but you're not sure what happened. So we're following her in the current time trying to find her son, and she like talks to podcasters. She's trying to deal with her husband at the same time who she's estranged from, and just a lot of stuff is going on, and she starts unraveling these events that she didn't know took place, and she kind of takes over because the police don't know what to do. So she's kind of doing her own little investigating. And then in the past, we have her with her little sister, and you kind of learn her background and why and that she's a sleepwalker, and that just a lot of weird things happened when she was younger, and her memory is just kind of off because of this sleepwalking. I mean, I genuinely and generally just didn't like it. I didn't like the vibes. I didn't really like the atmosphere of the book. I feel like I'm starting to realize I don't like books that have to do with children, and I don't know why. I just don't like it. I don't like it because The Whisper Man? I didn't like that one either, and I think the one I'm currently reading, The Night Swim, I'm not enjoying that one either because it also has to do with children, even though it doesn't have to do with the children missing, it's an adult missing. But anyway, I digress. I just don't like it. It gives me like an icky vibe, and I don't know why. Like, I'm cool with kids and like other stories, but for some reason mysteries I'm okay. And thrillers, I just for some reason don't like it. And I guess this is more of a mystery, so also in mysteries I don't like it. But anyway, didn't like the vibes. I don't like the atmosphere. I don't like the general plot line. Feels like it's been done a lot. The things I did like, I liked the main character. I liked how adamant she was until the end. I did not like her at the end. I feel like it was weird. The ending was weird. And then I liked the general confusion. I feel like there was a lot going on, so you kind of were like, to me it was obvious what happened at the end, but there were a few moments where I was like, wait a minute. But I also was bored for a lot of it. I'm trying to think of stuff that I liked, and I actually don't know if I liked anything. I don't know if I liked anything. I did like where the kid story, like when she was a kid, I like where that storyline went because it made sense, and I wasn't expecting it a little bit. And I like the unreliable narrator situation going on in the past because your memories as a kid are not going to be exactly as you remember them. Like, I talk to my parents all the time, and they're like, that's not how that happened. And I was like, what? So I feel like that was a pretty neat thing to put in this book and very realistic. Otherwise, I just really didn't enjoy this book very much at all, and I'm really sad about it. Okay, like I said, I'm trying to like keep these shorter than I have been. So we're gonna talk about spoilers. We're gonna go right into it because that was the meat of the book. It's a very short book. There's not that much to say about it. So the main spoiler of the book is that she ends up finding out that her husband, I feel like this was also obvious, her husband obviously was cheating on her for significantly longer than they were married, or than she thought they were. Like, they claim that they had only been together since her and her husband split, but they've been together for like 2 years, which is way longer than their son has even been alive. So that was a little shocked about. I didn't know it'd be that long. And then you find out that there's a man down the street that swears he saw her, like, and she's like, oh God, I was sleepwalking and I had my son. So she starts thinking she killed him. And you find out that this woman has been coming to her house, and it turns out that she's the one who took the son and like rehomed him because the husband never wanted a kid, so he doesn't want to be involved in that, and he basically helped orchestrate it so that the son went to somebody else. And so I do like that she got the son at the end, but what I hated was that she ended up killing the woman who took her son in a very weird way. Like, it was like a weird fade to black kind of situation, and they kind of just like let her get away with it. And I get it. I get you want to kill the person who took your child, but it was just so... it was such a weird way for it to happen. I think that's my issue. It's less the murder and more like how it was written. It was written so strangely that I was like, did it happen? It happened. It happened. It was just weird. It was weird. It was a very weird way for it to happen. But the part of the book that I actually liked was in the back. So you find out the sister died. You find out the sister died when they were kids. And she swears that she killed her. She just doesn't remember it. She thinks she brought her out there while she was sleepwalking, and they went swimming and the girl drowned. Turns out the mom drowned the daughter while in a psychotic state. She was going through postpartum, and I thought it was a very real look at extreme postpartum because people ignore it, and it's a very, very serious, real problem, and people do things they would never do any other time, but they have literal psychotic breaks and their brain just fractures and they believe things that aren't real. And so it turns out the mom, who was deep in depression and postpartum depression, ended up drowning the daughter. And I was shocked. All the signs were there too, and I missed it. And I feel like that was part of the point, is that even reading it and seeing it right in front of your face in like quick time so you can see more signs, you still missed it. And I was just like, oh my God. So it's very real because people miss it all the time or ignore it, and it feels like I ignored it and just like brushed it off as the mom being a bad mom. And that wasn't the case. She was going through a lot, and it was just like, oh my gosh, that was emotional. That I will say, even though I found that storyline boring most of the time, it ended up being, to me, the better part of the book compared to the main storyline. But I am glad that... I do find it interesting that the husband at the very end got arrested for the girlfriend's murder. I was like... So, even though the wife, our main character, is the one who murdered the girlfriend, she planted evidence that the husband did it, and I was like, damn. So that's why I think I gave it a 2, because there were glimpses of things that I liked. I just overall didn't like the book, and I wanted to DNF it multiple times. So it had moments, but not enough to make up for the rest of the book. So I feel like people are gonna really like this book. This wasn't for me, and I feel like now I realize I'm just not into stories that have to do with kids, especially kidnapped kids. So anyway, that's all I got for you. Make sure you subscribe for more book reviews, lots of stuff coming out in January, and make sure you like the video, and make sure you comment down below what you thought about the book if you've read it. And that's all I've got for you guys, so I'll see you in the next video.